Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I can hear myself, which is good. How is everyone at this fine sunny evening? And oh, Jack. Well, nation's capital, York. I mean, better than London. And hello, my darling wife, who's sitting in the other room, and friend neighbour inquisitor, who said hello a little bit earlier, which I did reply in chat. I hope you're all doing very well. Very well. Um, What is everyone up to on this evening? Dom is apparently just on his way. His Discord is updating, so it might be several hours. But we'll hopefully see that isn't the case. Doing good at work. Oh, fair enough. Yep, I did already done my work for the day. I know you're on a slightly different time zone though, so I'll forgive you. And thank you for tuning in during work as well, to be fair, so can't complain. Well, hopefully Dom will be here in a second. I'll give him a minute. But yes, got a few things we can have a little chat about tonight. Me and Dom did do a doubles tournament at the weekend, so we'll go through that hopefully in a bit. And yeah, I've just finished spraying some models, which I'll pop up in a minute, so I can actually do some painting tonight, which will be good. It's a little bit cooler today, but it's been reasonably bearable all day, and then a bit of rain, and then this evening it's gone very sunny on the front of my window down here. So yeah, for anybody who's I've talked about it a lot. My job is painfully simple. I could watch a movie and do my job. Well, is that living the dream? I don't know. Maybe it is. If that's what we want to do, that's cool. That's all good. As long as you get paid for what you do, that's all that matters, right? I suppose you should enjoy your work as well. But hey, whatever. I would hate to think you were sitting there, not enjoying your job, though, for an Over Inquisitor, because not enjoying what you do for a living can be quite painful, and I know that from a fact from some previous work of my own towards the end of my career at my previous place of employment. Um, so yeah. You get to work with lasers. All right, fair enough. Yeah, there you go. You see, I always think there's always a twist on someone's job. Lasers is cool. So definitely, definitely a cool thing to be able to say about your work. Just, I hope they're really strong lasers and you cut things with them. But lasers come in many different forms. It could be you could be the person that's solely responsible for designing the lasers that cats chase around um, rooms while they're just trying not to hit things while running around into them. So don't know. I mean, I'd quite like to do that. Quite funny. Let's see if we have nothing yet. I must admit, I don't know how big Discord updates are nowadays, but hopefully it's not too large a one. I know they're not tiny, but I was hoping that cutting metal parts, load up a fixture, hit a button, wait 10 minutes and do it again. Fair enough. Yep. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think laser cutting is quite a cool thing. I'd love to have one of my own ones to make things with. I think that would be quite a cool thing to have in the house. I don't think Vicky would be too keen on it though, because she'd probably think I'd injure myself in some way. I mean, I probably would, knowing my track record with anything that's able to harm. But then I don't know if it does actually harm the human body. Could be safety lasers that only cut metal. I don't know how they work. You definitely would. See, there you go. There's the confidence my wife has in my ability not to harm myself while doing a hobby. I mean, what harm could a paintbrush do, right? They give off very low grade radiation, so I wouldn't advise it. Okay, I won't. I won't. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning to be fair. Oh, hello. I've had a message. What's he done? I don't think he was impressed with my classic Dom comment I made into him in chat because you know he's it's not like this hasn't happened a few times in the last month or so. But he's probably watching this and he's just no chance to defend himself. So that's mean. So I'll stop that now. Sorry, Dom, if you are watching this. Um, I know you've had some fun with your connection of late, so I will take it that I'll take it as a win that it's actually still working at the moment. So, and the fact that it is actually hopefully downloading something and not just sitting there spinning. But I still can't see him on Discord yet, so it hasn't updated yet. So yeah. So yeah, me and Dom did a doubles tournament on Sunday, which was a good laugh. We finished a bit. It was quite a long Sunday actually, to be honest, because I think we didn't get out until just gone after 6, I think, in the end. So it was quite a long old day. But we only played 3 games, so I don't believe him, Dom. Not only is he not sorry, but I bet he's to blame. I always try to help my mates out with internet or computer problems. All right, so look, you can only show people the door and give them advice. That yeah, I wouldn't ever force anyone to do anything. Oh yeah, and I saw some more trailers for Space Marine 2 drop. Some commentator stuff. That's starting to look like it might be a really fun little game. I'm hoping potentially to do a couple of evenings when it comes out. Do a couple of streams on an off day, not on the Tuesday, but maybe on a different day while I play through some of it. Maybe potentially with a couple of people. We'll see. Just because it's quite relevant to the channel for a change from a game perspective, because it's a good 40k related theme. And yeah, quite looking forward to that one, to be honest. It's been many years since the original came out, so and graphically it does look immensely cool. But also I think the delay they had on that for the year has probably done it some good. I hope it has anyway. So hopefully a few of you guys might be able to come and join me online if you do play games as well. Yeah, there we are. Space Marine's looking fire. It's fire. Well, triple fire if we go with our neighbouring quiz there. So, and I'll I'm looking forward to a good 40k game, because there hasn't been an awful lot out. Bar I think the last 2 I think I enjoyed the most was probably the Grey Knights kind of XCOM style one, and also the Mechanicus one as well. I really enjoyed both those. Actually, I'd say I enjoyed the Mechanicus one a bit more than the Grey Knight one, because I don't know. I think it was the fact it wasn't Space Marines. It was a bit different, and I know obviously they're doing a Mechanicus 2, which is going to have some focus on Necrons. It would be playable. That is. You're looking to grab a couple of friends of mine to run through. Yes, that's same here. I've got a couple of people already queued up, ready to go on that one. Looking forward to sort of blasting through a few, because obviously they've got the main campaign, but they've also done like a. So I'm just going to pop this chat out because it's a little bit small on my other screen. That's better. Obviously they've got those kind of mission style things, operations. I think it was operations. So that's quite a cool thing. I think it gives that nice bit of longevity, because I think a lot of it's to unlock cosmetic style items. They also get to pick out 6 classes as well, so like the Reavers and Tech Marines, all that kind of stuff. So and the PvP looks cool as well. I'll give PvP a look as well, because that's a Chaos versus Space Marine style thing. So that's that's 6v6 as well, I think. So that should be good. Captain Jack says the Titanicus game is pretty good. I think support. Yes, I'll tell you what happened with that, Jack. I think they lost the license on the game in the end. They didn't renew it or something. I'm going to guess it was probably too expensive to renew. Because if anyone knows Games Workshop and their licensing, it's probably not the cheapest of licensing. But it's quite similar to what happened to the Warhammer Age of Reckoning one, actually. Because that was the same thing. Because obviously that game had been out for about 5-6 years, I think, and then they didn't renew the licensing. But I'm going to guess it was just because it was too expensive, which is a shame. Because the other one, the slightly weird one that I remember from a few years ago was because I've got a VR I have a VR headset, and I played the Betrayal at Calth game, and that in VR was pretty cool in a kind of in a way, sort of being on the battlefield with Marine on Marine. That was quite a cool thing to just sort of have a play with. Controls were a bit that weren't the best, but just being on that kind of battlefield level inside in a battlefield, that was quite a cool thing to see from that point of view. I think actually having something like that in Space Marine would be even better. But to be honest, because the VR is a bit niche in my opinion still for those type of games, I'm waiting for something that's fully supported and cool on that front. So yeah. But yeah, I think with Games Workshop games, it's always the licensing that tends to have had the problem. You find, I think, only really large developers tend to be able to hang on to the licenses for multiple years. Like Total War being an example. Total War 3 was that culmination of many years of work in that. And if you think about how much work's gone into that, if they'd lost the licensing early on, would never seen any of that. So Creative Assembly hanging on to that. It does sound like there is a 40k version of that in development as well from Creative Assembly. I've seen some rumours flying around, so I mean that would be pretty cool. I don't know what scope it would have, because I think having a game like that, I mean, you could either do it on a planet level, like they did with like Dark Crusade or something like that, or you could do an individual system. I don't think I think going to the scope of having multiple kind of systems might be a bit much for a start-off game, because Creative Assembly have a habit of doing kind of quite zoomed in areas in their first game, and then sort of expanding it every time they release it, so sort of building on what they've done. So I mean, you could almost have that as a planet, that system, and then a couple of other systems and so on, because I don't think there'd be much need for it, to be honest. I mean, having it set in I think the issue they'll have with that style of game is there's so many 40k races that they'd have to fit in. I mean, it's obviously not as many as the old world, but there's a lot. What's to say? The one I think I've played the most was Total War, and they did a weird Death Watch turn-based one. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. I know there's because you think that would work quite well. The Death Watch turn-based. I think that's quite a cool concept, but again, some of these games, I think this is all kind of a byproduct from quite a few years ago, when I think Games Workshop were basically giving out the license willy-nilly to a lot of people and a lot of companies and a lot of developers, just trying to get. I think it was kind of like one of those things where you're casting out a massive net to see which ones kind of stuck, and ultimately, the good ones are still around. I suppose that's the only thing I can kind of think of at the moment. And the bad ones never really kind of took off, or they did their game and then they didn't quite release. I mean, I think obviously Armada. Is it Armada? Armada was another one, wasn't it? CA do the Total War games in reverse of the big fish, little fish cardboard box. Yeah, exactly. But to be fair though, Jack, I think it serves it well. I think with the style of game they do, actually having that initial focus in that smaller window, I think makes their games I think probably easy to develop, and B, I think the scope's really the IPs they have. The scope tends to come out to that point where you can sort of zoom in but come right back out again. So because it's not focused on a very particular thing. Then their IPs they pick up are normally quite large, or the areas they're in. Hi, Rules Lawyer. Hope you're doing well, man. Welcome along. Just to tell everyone, apparently Dom is still coming. He's last I heard from him, he was updating Discord. I don't know what's going on with his machine. Hopefully nothing serious. Anyway, well, while we're waiting for them, I'll go for what I'm doing tonight, because I'm gonna have to get started on these anyway. So, Dom is in chat. There he is. So I am doing some space Terminators. I sprayed the Terminators. These are the ones that Dom got me for my birthday a couple of months ago now, unbelievably, back in April. I can't believe how quick this year's going already. So yeah, I'm just making a start on these, because I want to get all of these flipped over to this style eventually, and kind of have the standard ones replaced first. Then hopefully, by the time I've done enough of those, which is going to be 10 to 15, but probably 20. I think 20. I'm going to try and do that, and then have then start working on the redone assault Terminators when they come out, because I suspect they will do them. And I'll tell you honest, I hope they do a few more options rather than just claws and thunderhammers. But I don't know. I'm trying to think what other options they could have. It would be nice to see, like, maybe let them pick a larger, a different set of power weapons or something. So some mace builds would be quite fun, I think. But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, I don't think Dom has a very good relationship with the Omnissiah. He's, I mean, being mildly chaotic, I suspect he is definitely not too happy with him. But just out of interest, what's everyone else working on in chat tonight? What's everyone's paint table? Be good to hear what your guys' projects are at the moment. While I just get started on this first coat for the Terminators. By sacrificing coats this week. Yeah, but Dom, they don't like organic stuff. You're gonna have to, I don't know, do some toasters or something. I mean, just blow up some toasters for them or something, or repair something. Repair something. So rules lawyer is deep into some custodes. Cool. Push the pulp into the USB port. No wonder your PC's not working. We need to have a chat. I see. So the problem I have with my computer right now is because my graphics card is a fairly meaty affair. It is rather toasty in here already, but we'll see how we go. And Dom is working on his Spartan. That is good to know. I'm glad you've got one of those on the table. Be cool to have that face off in our Apocalypse game, Spartan on Spartan. Dom needs more sacred oils and incense to awaken the machine spirit. See, that's what I might get him for Christmas. I might get him. I'll get him an oil pack for. I mean, it'll have to be for a car or something, because obviously it's got to suit the required medium for the machine god. Or maybe I'll just buy him Mechanicus army. Maybe that'll sort it out. I don't know if Don would want to play Mechanicus. I'd have to make sure he only got chicken walkers or something. And Captain Jack is building some stormcasts for the misses. Okay, cool. You're going to be playing some Age of Sigmar, I presume, then, Jack. And what was the thought behind the stormcast in terms of the ones that she liked, or did she? We just got were those the ones you had around at the time? I know sometimes when you get into hobby, you tend to sometimes just pick up the ones you've actually got to start with to see just sort of if someone really wants to actually try out the hobby as a whole. And Vicky obviously started with Space Marines, and now she's very chaotic these days. I have to be very careful with her. So I have to be careful when I'm having my Templar meetings. Make sure I'm not being overheard for our plans for battle. She's seen the true light. I don't know, Dom. I don't know. It doesn't sound right. So, Dom, as you're in chat, are you still downloading Discord, or is there another problem just out of interest? Hopefully it's just a download. Still working through the updates. Oh dear. Oh, there he is. Oh, look. A lesser spotted Dominic.
Honestly, that's unbelievable. Like, what? Hello, everybody. Hello. I have, I finally got through the pesky updates. Unbelievable. Yes. So, yes, I am working on something, Tom. I'm working on a Spartan.
Ooh, plastic one.
Plastic one. Yeah, definitely a plastic one. I can tell you right now, this is a hefty kit.
I,
I don't know what the resin one was like, but this one is
um,
definitely up there. Hello, hello,
I,
hello.
w-
Sorry for the delay, everyone.
I would term the resin one as blocky and heavy. That one looks a bit
Yeah,
more easier to put
definitely not
together.
heavy. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. I'll tell you what.
It's
No, not true because the side panels come with the tracks on.
okay. Yeah,
So
this one I've got to be putting the tracks on
yeah,
individually.
so yeah, I did have
But
that.
look, got the las cannons, but they're all a bit droopy. So until it's painted, I've got droopy, and then they're getting glued in place. Or maybe I won't glue them in place. Maybe we're just picking it up
You
there.
could just put some blue tack in the joint or something.
I could do. Could do. Jack, no, the package I am picking up probably Friday. Check something.
Where's that gone? I forgot to get some tissue. I know mine. I can probably get around it. Yeah. I built. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
me.
think Dom bought the single model. I believe for his Spartan. I don't think he bought the kit.
You got a single model? No, I got the single model off eBay. How much was it? I think about £30 or something. Maybe it wasn't.
It's eBay one,
But
yeah.
it's yeah, eBay one. So it didn't come with instructions, which I'm working through now.
I think you can download them, can't you?
Yeah. I've got them on what have I got them on? I've got them online. It's
Cool.
not a problem. It's not the first kit I've had to build without instructions,
No, no,
and
we've all
most
been there.
probably won't be the last kit I'm building without instructions. But it's a very cool kit. So basically, I'm making it up as it is now, and then I'm chaosifying it afterwards.
Yeah, because I suppose there's
Yeah,
no real chaos options for it out the box because it's Horus Heresy in it, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's fine. I quite like it, to be honest. I quite like having a kit where I can chaosify it rather than
no, of
saying
course,
this
yeah.
is chaosy. So
I mean, to be fair, you've got
uh,
to think those particular ones would be from quite a long time ago, technically
yeah,
in the timeline. So
bit of an old boyish one.
very cool.
Uh,
So Dom, did you like my doubles list I sent you?
oh yes, definitely. I'm working on something very similar, Tom.
Oh, you are? Ah, sweet. I think it might be amusing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll have to see. Toothpicks make everything else. Very true. Also, chain as well.
Hang on a minute.
Jack.
Chain's got other uses for the Imperials as well. So
Yeah.
not just for decorating models either.
I'm just saying that Chaos did it first, and
No.
classic.
I think you'll find the Templars were,
Mm-hmm.
that we don't look at the World Eaters. They're not really, I mean, I don't know. It's just so much discussion over chaining weapons to yourself. It's just, I think the Black
Well,
Templars
we're using chains really to keep the demons in rather
keep the
than
demons in the demon chains. Yeah.
yeah. We don't have to open the hatches.
That's how I imagine 8-bound are done. They're sort of just like locked in a room, just chained.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Demons chained onto them. It's like you're not leaving this body.
Yeah,
that's probably not how it works. I don't know. I haven't read the lore behind the 8-bound. I assume it's some kind of possession technique. So
yeah. It's a very complicated thing. Just I don't know how it works, Tom. I'm kind of lying to you, but yeah, it involves 8 demons, doesn't it?
yeah.
As much as I know about the process.
So if a demon dies before they become 8-bound, they become like 7-bound, and they're not quite as
7.5 pound.
7.5 pound is like
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah, I'm cracking through these Terminators you got me at the moment. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting a couple more of them.
They are very
I
cool
just
from
love
what I've
the
seen.
size of them. They're just perfect. They just look good. I think they look like Terminators now. I think that's because I think the other Terminators looked a bit too squat.
Yep. Yeah.
I know originally they were quite a squat thing because I think they put more emphasis on the shoulder pads in the early days, didn't they?
Mm.
They were like, yeah, we don't need
Well,
body armor, we just need shoulder armor that covers down to our waist.
one of the people we played on Sunday,
Mm.
actually, he had some of the old school metal Terminators, and I
Ah,
was trying to take a little glimpse at them, and I was just like, yeah, they are pretty tiny now.
yeah.
Um,
Different, massive size comparison now. I think. Sorry, difference. I should say now.
mm,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
I did mention to everyone that we played some games on Sunday over the day, and
we did indeed.
I don't think we did
We had
terribly this time.
no, we didn't do terribly. We also didn't do terribly well either. So
No, we
it's
did win a game though.
we did
So
win a game.
we've become better by one. I think. I don't think. Oh no, actually, fair. We did win one last, time, but it was more. But to be fair, that was a bit of a buy list, wasn't it? In the end, so I think that. Um, but this the
Yeah, I think maybe I was thinking, Tom. I was thinking maybe we skew our lists too much in one particular favor.
yeah, it's like we should probably focus on the same thing and double down on it, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. Although to be fair, I've kind of been aiming for the Chaos Codex, Tom, and I really want to try all the detachments out
Well, there we are.
because they all look a lot of fun. So I was thinking maybe we will have a few games on live stream, and I will bring a different detachment every time.
I'll tell you what. I can do the same with the Marines if you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just because, why not? Then we can start because I will confess I was having a look at the various options available to me. And while it does irk me a little bit that I have to sort of break from what I want to do, um, sometimes, yeah, in the
I think you just gotta try things out. I mean,
yeah, it's fine. Ultimately, the list I sent you that would actually be actually not a bad Templar list on the grounds that all of those units would benefit from the combat perks that I get. So
hmm
but also have but not lose too much in favour of it. So we got here
absolutely.
now. Friend Open Inquisitor, that is a rumour. We never learn anything from the World Eaters.
Yeah, they're the best ones. If you want to learn learn about combat, it's
Khan learned a
all
lot
about
about combat, didn't he? And Sigismund, do you remember that?
yeah, yeah, he did.
He
Yeah, it's
learned a
true.
lot. Yeah, he learned
I mean,
a
we should ask them now and see who's still alive. Oh, this is awkward.
age catches up to all of us. Yeah, you can go disappear in the walk for 10,000 years and don't age and come out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's.
Well, there we go.
Oh, I
Um,
do like that scene actually. The last one he had with the Baden. That was quite cool.
oh, what in the Black Legion book?
Yeah.
Or
I think is it the one where he's gone to the edge to obviously confront him and he sort of like puts that sword through his.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've just started the trilogy again, actually.
Ah.
So yeah, it's very good. I've forgotten how good it is. This is what we want.
Yeah, see, annoyingly, I haven't really I haven't listened to many audiobooks recently because my commute is like 6 minutes long. And I used to listen to so
Yeah,
many books on my commute, and now I just don't really I can't get into something
yep,
in
yeah,
that
10 minutes.
time.
Yeah, it's not. You need a bit of time
Yeah,
to get
just a
into it,
little
don't you?
bit. So we've got some questions. There we go. Dread Talons versus Firestorm Assault. Do it up. Okay. Who is the better duelist? You think Khan? Well, I think Sigismund is the better duelist, but that is not actually, in my opinion, down to the fact that Khan is actually a poor fighter. It's that he doesn't have control of his senses anymore. That is the problem.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, like you said there, um, because it's a best or rather best fighter. It's a bit of a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, like a one-on-one from cold from like not doing anything to having to have a duel, I would say Sigismund. If you get Khan heated up, then you're probably going to be, it might tip a little bit in his favour.
I think
It gives also resilience as well, isn't it? Like Khan probably takes a lot more damage than Sigismund does. But yeah, it's interesting.
But Sigismund has the sense to block attacks, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Well, Khan probably rolls into it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
to get closer. Sigismund's like,
I think it's too. I think it's one of those things. I think each faction has that one fighter that you wouldn't want to face, and I think that's the true of both of them in their own respects. And I think facing them off against each other's in the current state is a bit unfair on someone like Khan, like post chaosification, because he doesn't have any of his kind of standard battle drilling in him really. And because I mean they showed that in the book anyway really well, because that
and it was kind of said in some of the books from Khan's defense here that he didn't do duels.
Yeah,
he was like, I don't get the point of it. I don't get the point of training and pits and stuff. I'd just go for the kill. So it's like,
kill quickly, kill fast. That was the
Yeah, well, Sigismund's a bit more of a showboater, but he's obviously got the skill behind him. He can
back it up.
Both.
He can back it up. That's the thing.
Back it up. Yep.
Because
pull his punches.
Because I respect Khan as a killer. I think that's probably the best way I would look at it, rather than necessarily a super cold, calm, collected duelist. Because he just isn't that anymore. And
I think one of the things about Khan as well as being that big threat is, one of the things is he's very unpredictable.
Yes.
So one minute you think you're, he's got a name for a reason. Your best mates. The next minute he's, hacking your head off. So, yeah.
He's the guy who, when he gets stabbed in the chest, pulls you closer to get the kill.
Yeah.
That's it's like. But yeah, I mean, but don't forget, before they all fell, they trained together as well. They actually had a mutual respect for each other as well. That was one thing they had before they fell, because I think that was the one one thing they made out in the books as well, that they actually did respect each other's skill.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's I think one of those friendships or respect, isn't it, that you kind of wish you saw more of.
Because I suppose that's one aspect they tried to show as well, was like when they were fighting each other, but in not them two necessarily, but marine on marine. People that were pretty good friends, like 2-3 years ago, or whatever. 10 years before it happened, suddenly they're like, "Oh, you're gonna kill me now?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the cousins, isn't it, that you don't see, and then suddenly
you changed a bit.
30 years, you appears. Spiky horns.
Sigismund is what Lucius wishes he could be. Yeah, I see. You see, Lucius is a weird one, because obviously he's obviously skilled, but at the same time, he's not that skilled, because he dies, and because of pride, he comes back. It's got nothing to do with his skill.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a bit like the old corn argument, isn't it? That you can't really win against him.
No.
Because you do, and then suddenly, a week later, you are him. So it's...
Yeah, because I did like that's another one of the Warhammer TV series I like, the episodes I like, was the Lucius one.
Yeah, that's a very cool one.
That was actually very cool, because I think that demonstrated the whole thing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like that one as well. It was good.
It hasn't been a lot out there recently, has there? Actually, thinking about it,
no, not much animation.
I think the bit I'm most concerned about now is I'm hearing a lot of things that the thing that Cavill was doing on Amazon TV sounds like it's been canned.
I've heard that as well. So a bit of a shame.
Don't know why yet, but I'm sure it'll come out. It's interesting.
I suppose the harm is, though, if you talk about it so early on, you're just going to be kind of expecting it to happen, but a lot of things do get cancelled.
Yeah, it does. It's fine. And actually, to be fair, it's not great. It's not the end of the world. I mean, what you hope is that whatever they were doing there gets pushed into the actual Warhammer TV side of stuff, as opposed to having to use Amazon as the throughput on that. It's just very strange because it was obviously hyped up quite a bit
Yeah.
initially.
Well, once again, like hyped up by our community, isn't it?
Oh yes, we are very good
But
at that.
no one else that really cares in the world.
No.
And then we maybe our own worst enemy. Imagine that, the community being its own worst enemy at times. That we all kind of hype it up and we go, yeah, it's going to
Oddly
be
enough,
amazing.
there was actually a really another good example of that the other day because obviously Space Marine 2 is coming out this year, Dom. There was
Yeah.
Valrak was doing quite an interesting piece on it the other day because he was basically responding to the fact that the backlash over over the developer cancelling the open beta before the game came out, and and it had been reported in several large computer magazines that it was being cancelled and this, and then Valrak very kindly pointed out that actually it hasn't been cancelled. There just never was one announced. Because this is the funny thing because everyone's just going off hearsay and they read the first thing and they're like, oh, well, they're screwing us over. They're trying to take, that kind of thing. And it's like, no, it was never announced. They did a closed beta last year, which is one of the reasons they decided we need to do some more work on the game. Oddly enough, that's what happened and that's what's been done. But it's just funny how these days any outlet now just looks for something. And everyone is quite happy to jump on and go, oh, it must be true.
Exactly.
No one fact checks anything sometimes, and I think
you give it a clickbait there.
It's insane.
What makes a good article?
yeah. So that's the annoying thing is I think article wise, I find it very hard to find a decent source for a good article nowadays. Unless it's from the official source normally. You don't really, the writing standard on certain things has gone, I wouldn't say completely downhill, but there's a lot of things is now, I think it's more down to the fact that people want something out every day now.
Yeah.
Whereas if you think about when we were first in like this hobby as an example, we would wait probably 6-7 months sometimes without hearing anything about anything. And then suddenly you'd get a little drip through the news when you pick up a white dwarf or something like that and you're like, oh, this is happening.
What's this?
Cool. But you wouldn't be like, because nowadays you just get on the internet and you go, I've got to find it. And then the thing is, you'll probably will find something about whatever you're looking for, but it doesn't mean it's true.
It's a mixed blessing with content creators, isn't it, really? Yeah, exactly. It's lovely that you can go log on and find something that you've got a genuine interest in hobby-wise. But also, the flip side of that is people will just keep pumping out content. In relation to that, where it might not necessarily be true. They just need to get those clicks in and get people on their channel, which is understandable. But
but it's the world of repeating content that's exploding. You find something that's got a lot of views and you go, oh, I'll do a piece on that. I'm just going to rinse and repeat this, and then someone else does the same, and then suddenly you have a wildfire of stuff that isn't necessarily even true. And I just realised we've had a lot of stuff come in chat while we were rambling on about that. Nikona Sharokin is a forgotten force in a lot of the fight between convoys. He beat Luciana and others.
I think he was Raven Guard, wasn't he?
It sounds like a Raven Guard name, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, he's a very cool character. He's a nice one. Who else we got? What other heroes have we got? Sigismund, Lucius, Ralderon, very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the Blood Angels had a lot of decent characters, didn't they?
Oh yeah, until that thing happened.
Yeah. Corswain, Corswain's very cool. Baden, Khan, Sigismund, Lucius.
Sevatar is the most dangerous fighter in all the Astartes, apparently. There you go.
Really? Is he though?
All the skill of Sigismund with none of the honour to hold him back.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about that's the argument Sigismund uses why he is the better fighter, because he does hold back. Because he doesn't dive in and he calculates what's going on. That was one of the things they kind of really exhibited in that, keeping a cool head and and playing the numbers, but in a very effective way.
Yeah, I can't remember. In the Siege of Terra, did he know he was going to survive?
Sigismund?
Yeah.
No, I think it was more that he had been told by the Emperor just to go out and be the champion.
Stuff.
Yeah, go find essentially go where there's trouble and fight, root out the league, root out the champions and kill them because he's basically the first Emperor champion. That was the whole.
Yeah, of course he was.
stick on
Yeah,
him.
yeah. I didn't know if there was like a
No, I don't. I
prediction
don't
that
think they said
he was going to
No,
survive. So, because the way he came across, like I was cheering Sigismund on the whole way through Siege of Terror. Because he's like that guy that would be like, "Oh no, all is lost," and this guy would turn up and decapitate half of them, and he's like, "Who's next?" And you're like, "Yes, Sigismund again."
Well, I think it was. I mean, obviously, I'm sorry to talk about the books, guys, but they have been out long enough that I think we can have a chat about them. I think there's that scene at the bottom of the mountain, when he turns up in front of that Death Guard army, and sort of like he's only got like a few hundred. He's just like, right, who's next then?
Let's do this.
And hello, Andy. Good to see you here, my friend. Thanks for popping along.
Good evening, sir.
So rules are saying I think he loses a technical fight to the best technical jurist, but in the death fight, instead of point scoring is I mean I suppose that's the thing is when you take a duel and there are slightly different factors when you come into it. So
Absolutely.
Two done with Folger and Course shanked curs. For me, they are the top tier non-Primarchs because they landed blows. Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty fair. That's a fair comment on about Sigismund on Fulgrim. Although I just love the fact that it's like Sigismund's going at Fulgrim and obviously Dawn's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
get back here!
Ran as well. Ran is one of my favourites.
Oh yes, yeah, Ran's cool. Yeah. To be fair, I liked a lot of the Imperial Fist and Blood Angel characters in the Defense of Terror. Actually, I think the main ones that they had, they were just really. I think they were just really well. I think they portrayed them as that loyalist kind of, thing really well. As a complete opposite to all the chaos stuff that was going on. They were like these bulwarks and defense and very honourable. And I think there was just something. I think they just did a really good job of drawing that line between the two sides of the conflict.
The way they're portrayed is really nice, actually, in the whole series. For the loyalists.
Because I think it's very easy to make them all look like they're super goody two shoes kind of people, but no, I think they portrayed them as having to make choices that really weren't that fun. And I mean that was basically the entire Siege of Terror. Was watching the loyalists is gradually having to make decisions on. So how many people should we lose today? Let's
and I think also it's that descent, isn't it, into madness and chaos with the siege. That the forces of the traitors, they're just by the end of it mainly deranged.
Yes,
and it's just like where the loyalists have literally lost everything. They know they're probably not going to win, so they're like, let's make an account for ourselves before it's over and make them
not
pay.
giving in to that despair. Just literally going, no, we're going to fight on and take as many of them with us. That is the whole attitude.
Yeah.
Andy says he's listening to Saturnine again at the moment. Saturnine Gate was, in my opinion, was the best ones. I think. I love the underground scene with obviously Dawn and his little sneaky surprise with the drills and stuff. I think that was Just think of what's his face down there, Little Horus, wasn't it? Didn't he get stuff?
Yeah. Some of them, completely.
Just like, oh, for God's sake! Azelekon, the commander of the Sand and Green Guard, is from closest to the starters can get to a custode. So attitude invades the life of his boss first, all else distant second. Yeah, that's cool. And I'm trying to think of the what was the name of the custode that was with old what's his face, the old boy, the old phage guy who was just trying to sort of
Oh, I know the guy you mean. Yeah.
Annoyingly, he's got a forgettable name, but he was a really cool character.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually why he's a good character, because he's kind of forgettable, but not. You don't forget the deeds, but because the custodes aren't really sort of known to have a personality. I can't remember his damn name. It'll come to me in a minute.
But it's quite good, isn't it? Because especially with characters like that, where you may not have heard of them before. And you're like, well, like with Valdor, you're like, well, I'm pretty sure Valdor's fine. But then other ones that they build up, and you're like, well, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen to this amazing character. Like, he could just go, or he could fight all the way through, and then they make up stuff about them at the end. But yeah, it's a very cool series of books that you can either
Well,
listen to
yeah,
it
it
or
was
read
the
over again.
obviously the Argonauts as well. I think they were quite cool characters, and at the end when he gets misted by Horus, it's like
Gone. But once again, you know how it's going to go.
oh,
You
of course.
know, like,
But the nice
what's
thing is they
going to
didn't try
happen.
and they also didn't try and make that not happen, which was really cool because yeah, some writers go, "Oh, I really like this guy. I better do something that gets him out of trouble somehow." And while
But
it's
is he dead? And you're like, no, he's dead. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not coming back from that.
Forge World team need to get back on it with some character series. We need some of those dudes in resin and some major characters in dire need of rules. Yeah, well, I think we discussed this previously on things. I mean, Forge World doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, rules lawyer. So
At times.
it's not a thing. It's gone. So yeah, I think the term Forge World is basically I don't. I don't think they even have a team anymore. I don't think it works that way because it's now the Horus Heresy team, isn't it? It's not really Forge World anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think because if you look up Forge World now, it doesn't need. There's no website. There's no mention of it. It's all tucked under the Warhammer brand now. There's no. If you actually look up Forge World, the site's gone. It's no longer exists.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all kind of crumbled in, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
and the thing is, what they're going to achieve there is that new people to this hobby won't understand what Forge World is, and it will gradually be forgotten, which
Yeah.
which is
What
quite a
was
sad
Forge
thing.
World?
Yeah, because I remember, yeah, when we were younger, and now, and to a less extent recently, Forge World was always one of these things we were like, oh, I quite fancy getting a Forge World model, this kind of, or that kind of, and it was one of those things. It was like it was the thing you had to save up for because it was normally a little bit more expensive than the standard kits and all this kind of stuff. But they've gone down this kind of, I suppose, accessibility route by saying professional kits and all this to try and make sure it's marketed towards the, I suppose, the slightly more adult audience or professional audience,
Yeah.
which I thought was a bit of
It's
a weird way of doing it. But hey, if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing.
hit and miss sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what did Forge World ever do for us anyway, Tom? What kits? What would you say was the biggest impact from Forge World?
Oh, Imperial
on
Armor
things?
books.
Yeah.
That's it. That honestly, the models I could take or leave a lot of them. I mean, some of the models are fantastic, but I think it was actually the lore that came out of those early days in Forge World, when they produced really cool Imperial Armor books which had some story behind them, and they
Hmm.
and explaining historical or other battles that are based in the 41st millennium, because you don't normally see a lot of that in the standard line of information. It's not really portrayed. Especially nowadays, I don't think that. I think that they do most of it through their proper Black Library books now, don't they? It's not really. There's not a model-centric lore developing kind of books to use in the game
Tell you
now.
what, actually, my comment on the recent Chaos Codex is that it is a step up from the previous couple they've done, because there is a nice big section of lore bits in there. There's a lot of decent artwork, photos and stuff, where previously a lot of it is just gibberish. So I was quite impressed by that, and I kind of hope they're learning from their mistakes. So yeah, I kind of hope that Games Workshop will bring it back a little bit, so it's not all about rules
Hmm.
and actually about background or kind of some character development. But I would say Forge World, one of the big things obviously was Horus Heresy. That's quite massive for the community and the hobby in general.
And that was kind of, I think, Rules Law was there saying that point. I was saying, but yeah, obviously you're saying each of the systems. So yeah, there are res models that's what Forge World did, but they're not. They are dedicated to a game system now. They're not. It's not like it's here's a Forge World model, because Forge World model was quite an ambiguous comment. It was like, you can buy this, you can use this, pretty much where you want in whatever setting. Whereas now it's very much like, well, this is a Horus Heresy model, which has been developed for Horus Heresy. You can potentially use it in 40k if we've got the Legends rules for you.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Legend rules kind of killed it, didn't they?
Yes, that I think
Legend rules.
getting rid of that crossover into competitive. I say competitive. I mean, even when we play a competitive game, it's not really. We don't really play it that way. We use it as a system because it's an easy way to get two armies together to play a game. That's really the only reason we use that as an option. And a lot, back when you remember when we tried power level, that was a disaster. And ironically, all they've done now is power level is match play because obviously all the upgrades are free. And
free.
Yeah, because it's you see what I mean. They kind of just smashed those two systems together, but made it. They've
simplified the whole process.
Exactly, and they've done it
which
in
is
a way,
in some ways good, and other ways a absolute pain in the butt. Like we encountered it once again at the weekend, where we had people who had models with no particular weapons on.
Oh God, yeah.
Where when you're paying for the weapons before, you feel that you have to model them on. But now you'll ask us.
But because now the data sheet just says it has it, and to be fair, we had a couple of cases where it got very confusing as well. And I think you remember I had to point out a few times, no, that doesn't have both of those on there. Yeah, you had to take one or the other.
We've had it before.
Yeah.
We had our previous doubles tournament.
Well, we had it twice because there was another case in the first game we had where the certain models hadn't got upgrade. Well, they hadn't had model about any of the weapons on it. So okay. But again, that is partly to, as you say, I think to do with because normally when you bought a model, you went, I'm going to kit it out this way. And I'm going to put these upgrades on it, blah, 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 blah. I've paid for them, so I've got to make sure they're modeled on there kind of thing. But now, because the data sheet just says, this model comes with X, Y, and Z, done. You can say what it is. You can say whatever you want on it, And because I think you've probably noticed as well, Dom, is that list exchanges at the beginning of the game has basically gone out the window. Because no one tends to even ask now. But instead of going back back a few years ago, you would always go like, here's my list. But now it's much more, I will walk you through my list, and you shall trust what I am saying is true.
I mean, like I said, we had that doubles tournament, and someone had a shadow sword, and they were like, "Oh no, I've got the extra las cannons and heavy bolters because it's free." And I was like, "No, you've got to pay for those ones. You've actually got to pay points for those because A, they weren't modelled on the model.
No."
So you kind of think, oh, you can't. And B, it's like, because everyone's so used to it now in this edition that it's free, like, well, actually, that's quite a substantial free upgrade, is to, increase your firepower by a third.
I have it as an example with, all my Black Templar tanks have a free melter on top. When you compare that, so that replaces a heavy stubber, Dom.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you want to replace a heavy stubber with a multi-melter.
I mean, although to be fair, after last weekend, I'm not even that sure multi-melters are actually even. I think they've definitely dropped down in my kind of, I suppose, expectation to kind of what their damage output they are. Right, anyway, got to catch up with chat quickly. 1 second. So Andy says, years ago, Forge World terrain pieces were incredible. Now there you go. There's a really good one actually. Yeah, the diorama terrain that Forge used to sell. There's another really big one that went missing.
The big resin ruins and the bunkers.
And the square, the single square slots that you could buy for the Realm Battle boards. Oh man, I because that's the one thing we were talking about. Obviously, since our last APOC game, we were thinking, because I think we both agreed the actual Realm Battle board was actually quite a good thing to actually have in that one because it looked good, it got some height on the board. I think we thought if we get two more sets of those, we could have a really cool looking board. But we did want to get the ones that didn't look we wanted the different style of one, didn't we? Not just the same one over again. So that's a really good point, Andy. I get the old world heresy, Emissary and Necromunda have their own resin balls, 40k kills in Walker, I don't. Yeah, that's a fair point. I miss those big campaign books, and I've still got my two favourite ones over there, which is the Bad Ab War ones. Hey, do you still have a lot of your...
I've got 13 over there at the moment.
Is that...
That's a Chaosy one, that's all good stuff.
Yeah. And Yeah, I'm trying to think of there was that other really good one that I didn't get, but obviously they stopped doing them a long time ago now. Anyway, I mean, they were talking 5, 6 years ago now, aren't we? Probably longer actually. I think.
Well,
Yeah, it's been a long time since they actually. But that's because I think when they lost their writing team due to obviously quite an important, quite a sadly big person, sorry, a big player's death. Um, in the community, and obviously not getting kind of, I suppose, replaced in a way, or it's sometimes those voids just never get filled, and that's just the way it rolls sometimes. And I think that was never really picked back up again in the same manner.
no,
Um,
absolutely.
which,
Which
which
is, yeah, a massive shame. Uh, you know, but however, you kind of think of the positives of someone like like Alan Bly, kind of his what impact he had on
oh,
the hobby, and
huge impact, yeah,
our enjoyment from that is massive. So yeah, it's sad, but a massive impact on a lot of people's lives,
yeah,
which is a massive thing,
yeah,
especially in this hobby. So yeah, positive
um,
for him. Yeah.
yeah. And then so I've got here. I'd be irked if someone wanted something without modelling it on. Yeah, we were. I mean, to be honest, uh, as we're saying, our hands are a little bit tied in the way that the lists are written and done now. Um, it's because I mean, technically, some rule packs do specify that it is WYSIWYG and you need to have it on there. But I don't really see anyone trying to enforce it. If I'm totally honest, I don't think you've seen that, have you, Dom? Someone's not really gone out and said, "Oh, you haven't got that. I'm going to make you not play it." I think that's
No.
not been done. Um, I don't care if it's
No.
free, but you better model it, Erna. I hate the new flat costs. I barely play 40k anymore. 10th edition is stacking up a lot of personality. See, I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's made things easier to get started and play a game without the
Hmm.
cost, but it has lost a little bit of customizability. Because I remember when you and me used to make lists, you'd just sit there and go, "Oh, if I take 5 points off here, and then
Yeah.
drop this entire model, that gives me 100 points to do something else that I might want to do." And this whole min maxing thing was. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there you go. Andy says, "Well, your melt was misfiring at the weekend." Yes, they were. Don will back. I mean, to be honest, they had. I think they had. Well, I think once per game they did something, but they were not consistent in the slightest. And I think melters are actually in an absolute shit show of a place at the moment.
They
Personally,
were diabolical,
they were
Andy.
they were awful.
You'd be like, "Oh, we hit," and then about, "Oh no, didn't win. Oh no, didn't
Yeah,
win. No,
because
we didn't
I
win."
don't know if you had the same with your ones, John, but I think you were shooting troops mainly, weren't you? That was the biggest difference. I think you had more troop shots with
Uh,
your melters. I think.
well,
Uh,
the obliterators are higher strength.
yeah. Oh, that's right, because they're strength 14, aren't they? Was it
No,
12?
strength
12,
12.
strength 12. Yeah, yeah. See
So
that?
most armor you're wounding on a 3 or a 4,
Yeah,
but yours is always a 5.
yeah, and
What's
that's
that about?
well, like I said, I think actually those melters are better used against medium to heavy infantry. Where
Hmm.
they go, yeah. But for tanks, I think they, I think what I actually when I was looking at the options I had, Dom, I think the Reaper's probably the better option with the 12-shot twin-linked main cannon with devastating wounds,
Okay.
and then lots of it's the slightly better Storm Bolter, which has got
Yeah.
a -1 AP on it, and using it as a
Hmm.
just a generic spitting out fire kind of thing rather than targeting anything in particular, or taking the full-on anti-tank gun, but then you don't get sponsons. So
Yeah.
it's different, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's fine. I get. I used to love melters. It was mainly. I mean, I think if they'd made, I think actually what I'd rather now I think about it on with melters is if when you had a multi-melter, they made them twin-linked and one shot.
Twin linked in one shot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah. I think twin linked is a major thing.
yeah, or have the strength go up the closer you are. Instead of doing extra damage, have the strength be doubled at half range
Hmm.
to make him because that's kind of how they work, isn't it? When you get close, they're supposed to have that
You get more melty,
immense
more
heat,
focus.
and I think actually
Focus.
I could live with less damage but more reliability in wounding.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when you're firing it, it's just like yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No one's scared of a multi-melter anymore, are they? I'm not scared of a multi-melter. Sorry, I'm just putting heavy bolters on a tank.
A
There we go.
weapons locker fee and points cost for upgrades. Yeah, I mean, I think there are. I tell you, I suppose the weird one is that if you think about enhancements, they charge you for enhancements, which I find a very odd thing to put a tax on and not the weapons.
Yeah, a bit peculiar, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the
Because they only
enhancements,
affect one model, don't they? It's literally a single model normally.
most of the time,
Yeah.
they affect one model, and even then, it's normally enhancement on a weapon. Like, well, not, but there are enhancements on weapons, aren't there? For a points cost of like 20, 50 points.
I think missions in the core book should be super simple, and missions in seasonal competitive event packs and narrative campaigns which should have the complex rules. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but the problem is, I think the more rule sets they have to accommodate means, I think it's going to be tougher to write the rules for, and also make sure that everything's covered. Multi-metals were really oppressive in ninth. They needed to nerf them really. I think Andy, I do agree. I think metals were quite powerful previously. I think they might have gone maybe one step too far the other way, because now they feel like this very limbo weapon, I think. I think even if they were strength like for because obviously on the Firestorm they go strength 10 at 12-inch range. I think if they were strength 10 basic, they would probably be much more of a sort of a valuable weapon, I think. But this is me just because I'm annoyed because I had lots of melters. Because I had 6 melter shots on 2 tanks. I had 12 melter shots, which really didn't do an awful lot against vehicles. Which, when you're going towards a demolisher tank or whatever tank with demolisher battle tank, and you fire 6 melter shots into it and a twin las talon, and it's still alive.
Why aren't they anti-tank, anti-monster?
Because that's obviously what they took off, wasn't it? I think they used to be. I think they previously they were anti-tank, but I think they took them off. This is why I'm saying I think they're actually more designed against like killing like a Terminator or like a heavy troop rather than an actual tank.
Yeah,
something where the toughness isn't too high that you're wounding on, so you do get to wound on a 3 rather, or 3 or a 2. Yeah, anti-elite. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, Andy, I think that's just basically what I'm trying to say. Is they're more focused on killing those middle size elite units rather than tanks.
Yeah.
And they've put more onus on things like the las cannons and las talons to do the tank killing.
Yeah, I mean, las cannons did get a bit of an upgrade, didn't they? Generally, they're pretty reliable. 10, they get broken. They would put things like gladiators on boards. Let's see, 5s less things, faster than our raiders. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we played.
But I don't think something that's going to change now for a while.
No. I think unless they do a major rules change inside one of the data slates, I think we're where we are now for a little while. I think if you think about it, we've only how many codex releases we had now? We had about 5, haven't we? I think since 10.
Yeah, but you think about multi-melter, it's quite a massive change.
Yes.
And is it a change that they want to do?
No.
I don't think it is. Because
the thing is, Marines have anti-tank weapons coming out their ears if you go and get it from different sources. So, and that's why I think the multi-melters now. I think you just got to change your thinking on the multi-melter. I think it's not aimed at tanks. It is for destroying elite kind of mid-strength units, mid-toughness units rather, not high toughness tanks. I think.
Maybe a multi-melter is then going to be more of a squad upgrade rather than an actual mounted on a vehicle upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got like a squad of battle sisters and they can have a multi-melter, why not?
Yes.
Add a bit of a punch to their firepower, because they're probably going to be focusing on infantry anyway. You might as well give them an extra kick and have that rather than necessarily chuck it on a what are their tanks called? Battle system ones.
Confessor or Condemn? What is it?
No, the normal transports.
Oh, the Immolator.
Immolator, yeah.
Immolator, or it was Rhino. Immolator's the little mid transport with the twin
flame
or twin melter on it.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's one of those weapons that I'd probably have as a little cheeky upgrade rather than anything else. Do, 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 do.
Yeah,
But yeah, multi-melters. Poof.
there we go.
What
That's
what are they all about?
yeah. But I did like your obliterators, even though I know they didn't have the best of first game, at least, because they got a bit swamped.
Yeah, I think maybe it's one of those things you've got to take in moderation rather than
Yes.
doubling and tripling down on things. It's just having that thing in your back pocket where you can go, oh, I'm going to chuck this out and see if
But
this
as you were
works.
saying, I think we noticed that a lot of people were taking quite varied, non-triple lists, except a couple of them.
Mm.
You know, I suppose if you take that first one we played, I mean that was quite a simple pair of lists: the Death Guard and the Space Marines. You know, there was because we both thought, well, the Space Marine list is crazy. They've got some infiltrators, they've got a Redeemer, they've got a squad of assault marines, they've got a squad of it was all a bit bizarre. But then when we played it, we're like, oh, this kind of works quite well together actually, because it's all
Yeah.
It's...
Well, there's certain things like from my list, things such as the Sorcerer, with Death Hex, which is definitely beneficial for both of us. Cypher as well. The amount of times people would kind of either go,
Cypher
"Oh, we've
was
got to deal with Cypher."
good. Cypher was very good.
Because
I
he's
love
very annoying.
Yeah.
And then even killing the cultists, stuff like that was just fun. And he is a fun model to have in my army because he's just that guy who's like, oh, don't get too close. He's got 2 pistols, and those pistols have got an AP on them.
And I think in 2 of the games, when you did that, they were like, "Oh, he can fight with them in combat." Yeah.
Yeah. People just didn't know. Yeah, and they're pistols. So essentially, every turn you've got 2 turns of just shooting in combat. You know, you're in your shooting phase, you can shoot. In combat, you're still shooting. It's just this insane model that's just there.
And also costing the enemy a lot of CP, because that actually came up quite a few times as well, because some people got really caught out by that, and I think they were spending 4. I think someone actually we played against spent 2 turns overwatching for 4 points just because they wanted to do the overwatch, and it was like, oh, we're going to do the overwatch, so it's going to cost you 2 points and then 2 points again. You're like, wow, we just burnt through their CP. But yeah, it's interesting interesting model. But yeah, I think from my point of view, I think my Sword Brethren had one all right game, which was the middle one, because they actually did what they were supposed to do. I think even one point you went, how many attacks they getting? How much damage? 3 So when you pump that damage through, they're like, oh my god, but Helbrecht, and I'm going to say this to you here, everyone, is not worth the 120 points you pay for him. I don't care what anyone says. I think he is now not the best HQ choice for Black Templars. I think he's. I don't think he previously was. I think because probably him and Grimaldus now are both 120 points each, so they got bumped up quite a bit from the previous. But I think I would take Grimaldus over Helbrecht, but I'd take Grimaldus in a very big squad so that he can hide.
Yeah.
I found poor old Helbrecht. I mean, maybe Helbrecht might do better in a large Sword Brethren squad, but the thing is, the amount of points you're paying to do that is quite a tax just to and it's a lot of points have tied up in a single model, as I think we found. We know this. We've been through this before. Paying lots of points for certain models is great in certain situations, but actually sometimes taking less powerful HQs for the cheaper cost and bulking out the rest of your army is actually the better decision.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's not. If it works, it's nice.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it doesn't really work very often.
No.
And then he's normally by himself, because the problem is, like, we've teamed him up with Sword Brethren, and I think we said that at the time as well. It's like they're not very resilient. So you go out.
That's it.
Yeah, you get out, you do your thing. You're like, if you're lucky, you kill a squad, and you're like, yeah, we've done it. And then every gun just turns on you, and you're like, oh.
And it's all very well saying, oh, move them around, hide them, stuff. But the thing is, it's 2 units that you need to go and do some work, not doing anything while you're doing that. And I think that was my balance of my list. I think because I've been, this is what I was talking about with the list balance is, I'm playing Righteous Crusaders. Naturally, I want to play combat because that's where almost all those vows come into play.
Yep.
But I also wanted to bring some firepower because I think both you and me agreed that when you played the Obliterators last time, they did really well. I thought, oh, I'll bring something similar. I'll bring like a Valiant, which has got lots of guns on it. But all I found with them was they were very hard to get into position before they died, because mainly people bought long range shooting weapons, and a Valiant is not a long range shooting weapon. It is not.
So, no, it's just frustrating, isn't it? It depends what you want, like weapon wise. Like anti-armor's nice. And how many? Most armies had a couple of tanks, but they weren't too tank heavy, except for the guard one at the end.
So if I take as an example, I can get you the the stats on a. I whack in a. I'll show you the. So they have the. Where are we? Gladiator.
There you go, Andy. Andy, how do you do, by the way? How did you and Finn do? Always Finn, bring a fun and thematic army to these events. It's a great idea until your first battle against 5. Oh gosh, yeah.
So you can pick up the so the Gladiator Lancer, which is the same cost. It's 170 points. So whatever. That's fair. So with that, you basically get the Lancer Laser Destroyer, which is 72-inch range with 2 attacks.
Yeah.
3 strength 14, -4 AP, D6 +3 damage, and it's a heavy, so you get +1 to hit if you stay still.
Okay.
So that, I think that's what I would probably change it to.
Yeah.
Then, but obviously you can add on I can still get the melt on the top, bizarrely, and the Icarus rocket pod, and I can put the Fragstorm grenade launchers on, or the Storm bolters. So actually, it's not as bad as I thought. I think actually, in reflection, that's probably the better tank. And then sit it, because it's 72-inch range, it can sit right at the back, and it can just use the main gun to fire at those units that have got which are causing us problems. Because at strength 14, that's much more reliable penetration on other things that are in that same thing, and it can sit in cover quite happily until it needs to come out. Whereas the Valiant, because the longest range on that is 36 inches, and the main firepower is at 18 inches. You've got to drive it forward. You can't.
Yeah.
I'd almost say
cover.
I'd almost say the Valiant is actually better left completely in cover on the backfield to take on something that pops down in your back line.
See what you can do with that.
Precisely. What's the special rule on the Lancer as well? Let's have a look at abilities. So Aquilon Optics. Oh, okay, it's even better. You can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, and 1 damage roll when resolving its attacks. Yeah, I think that's the better option.
It's a given.
It is the better option.
There you go. There you go. We've learned something new. I think it's just sometimes you got to look at these data sheets and
properly. Properly.
How it
goes. Look at the synergy. It's fine. I had fun, man, and that's the important thing. But it was just. It's one of those things that I wanted to do a little bit better. I mean, we did do better than we did last time, but I did feel that it was a bit scrappy in places. That was all. We won the first.
Yeah, because it does seem some things just keep repeating themselves, unfortunately.
Yes. I mean, in this case, literally, because we had the same opponents, so it was like, it was almost that was annoying. Though I felt that one actually could have gone either way at one point, and we just couldn't quite swing it. So Andy's saying,
yeah, I think because they changed play style in term 3, and then it turned pretty nasty on us.
That's because we had
where they decided not to. Yeah, they decided not to go for the objectives, but just go for us.
Yeah,
and then suddenly it was just like we took a lot of damage in that turn. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah. So Andy's saying we won the first game by a point. Couldn't deal with the Necrons at all. And the last game was versus Elbar and Imperial. Beast Boss was MVP. Charge Canis Rex, causing 21 death wounds on his own. Jesus Christ!
Nice, well done.
I'll tell you what though. I think the game when we knew we were basically screwed was the last game. I think.
It was hard. It was just to be fair, brilliant people.
Yes, well, I had a really good game.
Adam and Dave, and it was really nice. There were a nice couple of guys to play against. Interesting lists.
Yes.
And I think, no disrespect whatsoever, but my brain had gone by then, and I was like, I just want to have a laugh. I'm not really bothered anymore. No. And I think you were the same. So it was like, let's just have a laugh.
It was actually just much more of a fun. We accepted our fate because we just looked at him and went, how the hell are we going to deal with these 3 tanks and 9
Yeah.
cataphractii
Yeah,
requires. It was just
because I
like,
think by then we'd realised as well that that the tanks, your tanks,
we're
would
useless.
probably be outgunned. My obliterators, like we took out a couple, but we would be outgunned. And there were
Yes.
so many troops. It was either flip your fire on the troops or flip your fire on
Yeah.
the tanks. And even when you got a 20-man squad of Death Corps, it was like, I can't kill that many in one
No.
body of
It
fire.
took
Okay,
my
go.
chaplain 4 turns to chew through the squad. Basically, that
Yeah.
was, and then on top of that, the Hellbrick charged a sentinel and didn't do a single wound to it, even with the mortal wounds. And that's when you go, why?
Yeah,
You
working.
were supposed to be like the cream of the crop for the Templars HQ choices, or one of them anyway. And you're like,
Yeah.
you didn't even take a sentinel down. What the?
No!
Should have taken the Emperor's Champion and gone for 75 points and just gone, in you go, mate. Go Jim Carrey it.
Yeah.
Right.
Alas.
I think we're about ready to wrap up there, aren't we, Dom? I think.
We are indeed, I think,
Yeah.
Thomas. Yep.
Obviously, I did put the paint challenge up in the Discord channel. So if you weren't aware of that, please go check it out. This is our Discord link. If you haven't joined our little community yet, just click that link, log into the channel, and we'll admit you into the members area. There's no real criteria for it. Just basically say hello, and then we'll sort it out. But other than that, I think that's it. So
Yes.
I have been Tom, and this has been
Tom.
and we make up Lacto Studio. It's been a pleasure to speak this evening, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Toodaloo. Bye bye.